Hello, Rangers fans, and welcome to the latest episode of Glasgow Rangers Nation. This is your daily news video from Glasgow Rangers Nation, the channel that brings you your team every day. And guys, how do you get your team every day? Well, you hit that sub, you ring the notification, you set it to all, so you get your reminder whenever we issue a new video or we go live. It's the best way. And obviously, if you give this video a like too, please, guys, it does help. And you can find us in so many places. You can find us on Twitter at GRN1872. You can find us on Instagram, Glasgow Rangers Nation. You can find us on Facebook, Glasgow Rangers Nation Official. You can email us even, Glasgow Rangers Nation at gmail.com. And you can even buy me and Victoria a coffee if you so wish at www.buymeacoffee.com and then search for Glasgow Rangers Nation. Thank you so much, guys. I'll leave that contact information scrolling for you. Okay, so news that is breaking news that is coming out of the greatest team in football at this moment in time. What do we have? What do I have for you? Well, we've got some news about what Michael Beale has been saying. We've got some news about Ryan Jack. We've got some news about contract situations, and we've got some news about Yanis Hagi. Now, Yanis Hagi, there has been multiple speculations of multiple links for Yanis moving away from the club. Now, obviously, this is news that I've brought you before. Yes, I get that, the move to Celta Vigo, etc., etc. But as always, Yanis's dad, Georgie Hagi, yes, the Romanian legend, Georgie Hagi, has been having his say on his son's future, and he is reportedly fuming as regards these constant links, linking his son with a move away from our club. Yanis's dad had this to say. He said, "You cannot talk about the departure of a player who renewed his contract 2 months ago. He's at Rangers. He plays for Rangers. He stayed for a year or so, and he is not leaving on loan because he is a valuable player. If Rangers renew your contract, it means you are a very valuable player. There is no loan coming. He is an important player, and it is a shame to throw out untrue things. Don't give me lessons. Yanis was the best player until he got injured." I suppose he is going to say that he is Yanis is his son. I don't think all Rangers fans agree with that assessment, but you know what? As a dad, you do that anyway, don't you? You always support your child. I know I do that with my two daughters. Um, you know, so now he has the process of readjustment to the effort. That's all. He is a starter at Rangers, not a reserve. There is no such possibility. This is stupid. He has reached a level and cannot come back. Yanis is going through a rehabilitation process. When he will play, let's see. I know from reliable sources that he is a very important player for Rangers. He doesn't obviously mention who these sources are, of course. He says, for the future of the club, he is important. He is healthy. He trains with the team. It is not easy. It is important for Yanis to play. So obviously, Georgie is not a happy man about his son being linked with a move, although he does mention just loan moves rather than permanent moves, which is kind of interesting there. Perhaps not ruling out that permanent move. I don't know, but it's interesting, isn't it? All the same. But it does seem that Georgie Hagi is obviously indicating that his son doesn't want to leave. I suppose I'm sure that Georgie talks to his son on a regular basis, and Georgie Hagi was obviously a very, very talented player in his time. There is certain groups of fans within the Rangers fan base who would be quite happy to see Hagi moved on for 4 to 5 million. I think there's teams obviously like Galatasaray who seemingly have it as kind of a preconceived idea that is the destiny that Yanis will come and play for them at some point. They would be quite happy, I think, to part with £5 million for Yanis Hagi. However, personally speaking, I think that, given the fact that Ryan Kent is likely to leave in the summer to go to Burnley, I think that hanging on to someone like Yanis Hagi is good. We need players for depth. We need quality depth in this squad. And Yanis Hagi is a quality player. We need, quality depth for Europe. He is good in Europe. Again, I think Hagi is a sort of player we need to be hanging on to. There are other players who I think we could quite easily move on and get some capital in for them. The likes of John Lundstrom, the likes of Glenn Kamara, who are not in anywhere near the same talent level as young Yanis Hagi. So for me, I would not sell Hagi. I wouldn't want to see anyone. I want to see him in a Rangers shirt next season, and I want to see him give an opportunity to start. Reportedly Hagi is close to Beale. Allegedly, when Michael Beale departed Rangers and was at Aston Villa, Yanis Hagi kept in close contact with the former assistant manager at Rangers, Michael Beale. So there is a closeness in relationship there, and I think that Michael Beale would be anxious for Yanis to stay at Rangers and take on that Celtic lot from across the city and to really push them next year. I think that is definitely a intention there amongst the coaching staff going forward. Obviously, really disappointing news yesterday, which I broke in my video yesterday, that Ryan Jack is out for 3 to 4 weeks. This, of course, does place, a certain amount of doubt over the renewal of Ryan's contract. Michael Beale did speak about obviously wanting Ryan to remain at the club. However, it is making Ryan's position increasingly untenable, isn't it? The fact that he is out injured yet again. Ryan has missed, large proportions of the season during his time at Rangers, and it's a real concern how often he gets injured. I mean, obviously nowhere near as bad as Kamar Roof, but still, Ryan is injured on a regular basis, and we need Ryan to be fit. The job he does is undeniably good. The fact that he is, he covers for Tav. He does a great job in that midfield when he is fit. But it's that again when fit, and can we really afford to go forward into next season with again this mantra of this player is great when he's fit. This player does a great job for Rangers when he's fit. We don't want to be facing a situation next year, given the fact that we want to compete with that lot from across the city and overtake them. That we're again talking about our better players has been, when they're fit. That is not the way we want to go forward with this. And I think that is the big issue for me is that Ryan Jack going out injured again, I think could place, a certain uncertainty over his future at the club. If it comes down to say a choice between him and Scott Arfield, yes, Arfield is a lot older than Jack, but Arfield is more reliable in terms of the number of games he can play, the number of appearances he can make, and Arfield keeps himself fit. And I think Arfield also does a job that is underestimated. Yes, I don't think he can start, but Arfield is certainly someone who comes on, runs beyond the last defender, powers from the midfield, scores goals, is a quality player. And, Ryan is certainly putting the club in a difficult position as regards a future contract for him, given the amount of, games he has missed. If you look back across the number of games he's played in the last few seasons, this season he's made 22 appearances in the league. Last season, 9 appearances only, 19 appearances, 30, 17. Again, it's not a full season and he's missing an awful lot of time. So, is it time to cut our losses on Jack? And is it time, given the fact that he's out of contract, for us to say goodbye to Ryan Jack? And, just, I think, consider it as, as a greater player as he was and as talented as he is, we can't afford to keep carrying so many injured players. That's got to be something, I think, that we've definitely got to take into consideration for me. And personally, I love Ryan Jack. I think he's a great player. I think he's been a fantastic servant for Rangers. But, I'm looking at this long term. I'm looking at this for the best of the club. And I just think that maybe we can go out and get someone to replace him. Maybe there's, we've got other players at the club who can do that job. If Lundstrom is going to say he's a defensive midfield player, yes, he isn't quite as good as Jack, but at least he's fit on a regular basis. And Jack misses way too many games for me. And that is a big, big concern. So moving on, talking today, Michael Beale obviously talking to the media today as part of his media availability. Guys, there is obviously a video out there, which I put out there as regards Michael Beale and what he had to say to the media. Please go and check that out. Also, talking about all of what he said, it is available at this moment in time. But, Michael Beale talking to the media did give a bit of an indication about summer arrivals. He said that Rangers are close to sealing 1 to 2 signings that will secure new faces for pre-season. That's what he said today, speaking to Sky Sports. So it seems that Rangers are a good way down with their recruitment plans, and already 1 to 2 new faces are very close in the pipeline to coming in. He said that last week, everyone that played, barring Alfredo and Alan, will be a Rangers player next season. Is this a huge hint that he is dropping that Alfie and Alan McGregor are definitely leaving in the summer, given that comment? Obviously, Ryan Kent didn't play against St Mirren, so obviously no comment on that. But, this conversation that he seemingly now knows that we are wanted. We are just very close to getting those 1 or 2 players in already. Of those 4 or 5 faces that he wants in, it's good news that the moves have already been made and the club are already planning early. That is the best way around it. Look, we can say what you want about that a lot from across the city, but one thing Ange Postecoglou has done really well in recent seasons is he's brought in players and he's brought them in early to get them organised and get them into pre-season so that when they can hit the ground running come the start of the season. And that is certainly something that Michael Beale seems to want to do as well. And the fact that we are close to 1 to 2 signings is very good news for the club. He was obviously asked about Ryan Kent at today's press conference. He said that there's no news on Ryan's future, and I'm sure when there is, it will be announced officially. That was in response to the question about whether he knew anything about the link between Ryan and Burnley. He was then asked about, is he confident that he could persuade the 26-year-old to stay? Michael Beale then responded, it's not a matter of persuading, it's about having a conversation, making sure we are on the same page, which I think, is the best way forward. You want volunteers, not hostages, don't you? You don't want people that you kind of have to persuade to stay here. You want players that want to play for Rangers, that want to be at Glasgow Rangers. You don't want players that you've kind of had to sort of talk round into staying. And that is not certainly a situation that we want at the club. We want players that want to be here, that want to fight for that blue jersey, that want to be out there, that want to take on that lot from across the city and really, push this club forward. Now, Rangers have suffered a slight setback, apparently, on their transfer business. Now, one of the strikers they were reportedly interested in this summer is Bordeaux striker, Girondin de Bordeaux striker, in fact, to be precise, Josh Maja. Josh Maja, the former Sunderland and Fulham man, is a quality striker. He's got quick feet. He's quick. He's a good finisher. He can finish in the box, outside the box. And I've seen him play personally. I think he is a very good player. However, it has emerged that Josh Maja has said that if Girondin are promoted back to Ligue 1, that he wants to remain with Bordeaux to take them on into Ligue 1. That is certainly a setback for Rangers. At this moment in time, at time of speaking, Bordeaux are in second place. Obviously, it is close between them, Metz and Sochaux and Bastia to who goes up. Bordeaux on 56 points, Metz on 55, Sochaux on 52, and Bastia on 51. So it is very, very close. But that is certainly a discouraging statement for Rangers. The fact that Maja would say that he wants to stay with Bordeaux if they are promoted back to Ligue 1, which obviously is a worry given the fact that he was seemingly one of their primary striker targets. Certainly, as a club, we don't want. Well, I say as a club, fans, I don't think are very encouraged by the link to Lyndon Dykes from QPR. Beale spoke about the fact that. You'd see links between the players he brings in and in players he's worked with. And Dykes is certainly someone he's worked with at QPR. But, Dykes, for me, is a poor striker. He's not a great striker. And, if you play Dykes, you've got to play someone with him. Certainly he struggles to play up front on his own. And that doesn't kind of fit the system we've been playing. I'm not bought into the Lyndon Dykes idea. I don't think he's a good player. I don't think he'd be a good buy at all. Josh Maja would be, but it seems that Maja is moving out of Rangers' sphere and away from that possible signing. That is certainly not good news on the transfer front. Well, obviously, we're building up towards the game against Aberdeen on Sunday, where no doubt Aberdeen will come out and play like it's the Champions League final, as they always do against Rangers. They have a very big sense that Aberdeen versus Rangers is one of the biggest fixtures in Scottish football. I think for us, it's just another game. So obviously we're building up towards that. Remember, there will be a live stream here on Glasgow Rangers Nation. Please come and join me for that. I will be watching the game. It'd be great to have you in the live chat with your thoughts, comments, and questions about the game. Reminder as well, I'm going live tomorrow night to answer your questions. Tonight, to answer your questions in the Glasgow Rangers Nation Q&A. Thank you so much for watching Glasgow Rangers Nation. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. Rangers fans are the greatest. Please continue to hit that sub, ring that notification bell, and give these videos a like. We thank you for all your support. We have passed over 750 subs now. It is absolutely superb, the support you have given this channel. We are so grateful, myself and Victoria. Thank you for watching. I'll be back to speak to you again very soon here on Glasgow Rangers Nation.